Radio Free Santa Clarita presents The Talk of Santa Clarita, a podcast about issues involving Santa Clarita and the surrounding valley. Episode 145, Democratic candidate for state senate, Steve Hill. And now, let's see what the Talk of Santa Clarita is.
And remember, this is for posterity, so be honest.
Steve Hill, welcome to the Talk of Santa Clarita. Your returning visit, but this time with cameras.
Yes, and thank you so much for inviting me, because I will finally have an opportunity to speak in something that is longer than 1, 2, or 3 minute segments, as in the debates that we've been having. People wonder like how I get guests, and I always tell them it's like, oh, come on, anybody wants to talk for an hour. You know? Right. And I perform stand-up comedy, so this is like a
dream come true kind of situation.
Perfect.
The expectations are that you're going to be funny, so you know.
Well, there are some things that are funny, and there's some things that it's just harsh truth that you may not find so amusing.
All right, well, we'll see how this goes then. I'm already nervous. Well, let's start with this. You're running for state senate in the 21st district, correct?
Correct.
Sure, correct. That's against Scott Wilk and two other Democrats, Warren Heaton and Kit Muller.
Three Democrats.
There's three. There's the fourth one.
Right. Dana Lamont.
Yeah, very nice guy.
Brilliant
Nice
gentleman. Brilliant.
How is the campaign going for you? That's a loaded question, I suppose. But
the campaign is everything is beginning to ramp up. Of course, we getting close to that 30-day line where you're going to see candidates inundate our communities with their yard signs, their door knockers, their literature in the mail that clogs up our mailboxes. I refer to it as a low-level brainwashing technique, kind of like a hostage situation. Yeah. But everything is gearing up towards that big climactic, what do the people, the voice of the people. This is the voice of the people that we're getting ready to see demonstrated to the public about, engagement, civic engagement. This is the only time. This is the only time that the people have power. Mm-hmm. So I want them to use it wisely.
Well, let's first of all, you do stand out as a candidate for a lot of different reasons. One, you do stand up. Former Marine, from the Antelope Valley, correct? Is it Palmdale?
I've been in the Antelope Valley for approximately 28 years.
28 years, okay. And you do stand out in the sense that you are, I think, the only candidate other than maybe Katie Hill that has been in Time magazine.
And that's a double-edged sword, because
do you want to let's talk? I want to talk about that a little bit.
Sure, let's go.
Because you were in Time magazine when you ran in 2016.
Correct.
You were in Time magazine I believe it's a full-page article, wasn't it?
Correct.
About being a Satanist.
Yes.
Now, Steve, first off, when the last time I interviewed you, you were an atheist and a proud atheist.
Yes, and I still am. I'm still a Satanist too.
Okay. Well, I think that word Satanist makes people a little nervous.
And why? Why should it?
It didn't make me. Man, it didn't make me nervous.
Satanists weren't involved in the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
Satanists weren't involved in the slave trade, North American.
Well, why don't you just explain what it is by Satanism that I guess you're practicing a Satanist? Are you a practicing Satanist, or is it more a joke, or are you seriously part of the Satanic Temple, or what's going on there?
Okay, for one, let's clear this up.
Okay,
I'm not part of the Satanic Temple. I used to be heavily affiliated. Actually, I used to be the co-chapter head
of the
for
Satanic
the
Temple.
Satanic Temple chapter in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Does that look good on a resume, by the way?
I hope so. But but I'm not. I don't do anything with them anymore. I'm kind of like a lone Satanist now. Just
a lone Satanist.
I'm my own kind of Satanist. I'm for one, the Satanic Temple had 7 tenets.
Okay.
And I'm a kind of rebellious Satanist, and 7.
You're kind of a rebellious in everything.
Yeah,
you?
yeah. The 7 tenets were too much for me to deal with. But now I do have 1 tenet because I like to keep things simple.
Okay.
I got 1 tenet.
What is that?
Don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole. Okay.
That's my tenet, and that's what I live by, and that's what I wish everybody could live by.
Explain to the audience what you mean by Satanism. Then, I mean, is it?
It's sarcasm.
Okay, so it is a joke.
And
it is a joke.
It's a joke, but tongue in cheek, because as far as organized religion goes,
yeah,
I am basically diametrically opposed to organized religion, and it's not because they're all evil and do bad things.
Right.
It's because I know that religion is sometimes utilized to take advantage of the weak and the vulnerable.
Sure. Yeah.
And our government just can't stand the competition. But yeah, I they're just like humans, just like people. There are churches that do good.
Yeah.
And there are churches that are pure evil. Take Jim Jones for instance.
Sure, Jim Jones, yeah.
A lot of African Americans drank the Kool-Aid and lost their lives.
Well,
and it's because, for me,
it is not like, you're doing the whole goat's head soup kind of.
No, I'm not. I'm not
kind of thing or
eating
like
chocolate covered children, and I'm not.
Chocolate covered children, by the way, playing Coachella.
Yeah, I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah.
I'm none of that. I'm basically.
But you understand why that would.
Yeah, I understand that, but I wish people would get out of their mental conditioning as it relates to religion.
Yeah.
Get out of that, and grow a little bit. Think a little bit, and you can clearly see.
Well,
that people think in different ways.
Right.
I have no use for religion because I like to base everything in logic, reality, fact, reason, science.
One of the things I was when I found out you were part of the Satanic Temple or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Well, no. In all seriousness, when I did the last interview with you, we were talking briefly about religion and things, and you said you practice the religion of just love.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Just love. Even if we just loved everybody's children, and just wanted to educate everybody's children, I guarantee you, in 50 years, our society would have progressed into something that would be more conducive to even having this existence here on Earth.
Why are you running for Congress or for state senate? Excuse me.
Because the people where I live at don't have a voice.
They don't have a voice.
And our community has a plethora of problems. I'm talking about homelessness.
Yeah.
I'm talking about schools.
Yeah.
I'm talking about income inequality. I'm talking about over incarceration. We have a state prison in our community.
Yeah.
In the Antelope Valley, we have a state prison. They teach you one day at the academy training. First day, they teach you. When you put a prison into a community, you change the demographics of that community. And that's just a nice way of saying our prisons are disproportionately full of blacks and Mexicans.
Okay.
And then when you have a community like this with affordable housing, and everyone knows for years that they've been sending people out of South Central LA, Compton, Watts, Wilmington, distressed, on Section 8 public, they've been sending them to the Antelope Valley, which as a real estate appraiser, I almost see as a brilliant idea because I've thought about it. I've spoken about this across the country to kind of dissipate these highly segregated, hyper-segregated areas of the country where they basically redlined African Americans to live into because we were restricted. We couldn't live amongst whites, basically. And it's still going on today. But
you're saying basically it's an unofficial segregation kind of situation.
Oh, yeah, and the government is mostly to blame. The government is mostly to blame. I'm a real estate appraiser. I've studied this for years. And, what I see going on in America with African Americans and real estate and chances for generational wealth to develop, because most people build wealth through real estate, especially from the middle and lower middle classes. It's a crime against humanity.
Yeah.
There's a place up in the Antelope Valley called Sun Village. Most candidates aren't familiar with it, but that's where they redlined African Americans that they could move. They wouldn't let them purchase land in Lancaster or Palmdale.
Yeah.
Now you think about that, and you fast forward it. Think about maybe 50 years ago, you could have purchased some land along 10th Street that now is zoned commercial, and you have something that's, maybe you can leverage that and get your kids in college, or you can start a business. But now, Sun Village, now there's nothing out there.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
But I mean, what are your goals if you're going to run? I understand, you definitely recognize a lot of the problems in this district. But I mean, what are your goals as a state senator? What do you want to change? What do you want to do?
I want legislation to anytime there's any place there's a state prison, because this state built prisons record pace in the 90s. Any place there's a state prison, I want to create a special education zone to help those kids to kind of cut off that school to prison pipeline, because now you've got the people who really need help isolated. Right. You can help these people now. We know where the problems are if we look. Nobody wants to tackle the hard problems, though. All the churches and these other 501c3s, and they want to do the easy work. Oh, let's hand out backpacks and pencils, but don't nobody want to go into the home and find out why the African American suspension and expulsion rates are off the damn charts. Yeah. And nobody wants to tackle that. The preachers, the pastors, the churches, the 501c3s, all of these community groups.
It's sort of like when I worked at a homeless shelter. It's the situation was like, we never could get volunteers except on Thanksgiving.
Right.
Everybody came in and wanted to serve for 15 minutes, serve Thanksgiving dinner, and then they thought, I've done my bit for the cause for the year. But nobody was around to help the rest of the year. Exactly. I know what you mean by that. It's kind of like one little thing that they think they do, and that solves.
Right. But see, then they think that gives them the right to be judgmental towards others because, I've done my part. Yeah. Like, no, these people need help 365 damn days a year. Yeah. Not just for you to show up with a photo op or, do your little 30 minutes of public service.
I mean, we have a pretty progressive state, though, in general, as far as the Democrats running things and state government and fighting Trump as much as they can. But I mean, so you're saying they're not progressive enough? I mean, they're not doing enough as it is? I'm
saying this. I'm saying the state. I'm saying the state as a whole. Yeah. California is beautiful. Okay. That's why I came here. Right. I knew that, when you're in the ghetto on the north side of St. Louis.
That's right. I remember you from St. Louis. Yeah.
Yeah. When you're there and you see California as a kid, and you see that, wow, they got a black mayor in Los Angeles. Yeah. Bradley. And you see, like, wow, they got people that look like me, and they're making movies, and they're in entertainment, and it's like California must be heaven because. Look, where else is this happening? So I wanted to come here. But Antelope Valley has been like a stronghold for the Republicans. There's never been I don't think ever been a Democratic.
Not to my knowledge,
I've studied it and researched it, but I couldn't find a lot of, this is indicative. This is why we have so many things up there named after Steve Knight and runners and. It's like, okay, we're going to get something named after Obama after I get elected.
Okay, I'm all for it. You're a progressive, you're a Bernie bro, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So you
I'm burning till the wheels roll off.
All right,
that's right.
So I'm down with Medicare for all kind of idea and everything like that.
Yes. But most of all, I support getting money out of places where money shouldn't be. Like two things: education and healthcare. Mm-hmm. That shouldn't be for profit.
It is kind of crazy that
it should never
go
be
bankrupt for having cancer.
Right. Like, oh boy, you're just gonna work to death one way or the other.
Right.
Either work to death trying to pay off your medical bills, or you just die. It's an asinine concept of everyone not being able to have. I want the same. Our legislators. Yeah. I want the same health care for everybody that the legislators get. I mean, Congress. I mean, I want. They call it Cadillac plan.
The Cadillac plan.
I mean, I want that for people, because people are all human beings. We all hurt the same. We all feel the same. We all think it's horrible when something dies.
Who are you supporting for Congress right now? With if you're a Bernie bro, are you supporting Christy Smith or
no
Jank or
no?
Who are you supporting? Do you want to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Hannibal's a good guy. Been on the show, friend of the show.
And guess what?
Yeah.
He's local. He's from here.
Yeah.
And he's from the Antelope Valley. He's a local. I call him a local kid because I'm considerably older than Mr. Ortega, but he's local guy.
That's
I mean,
important.
who
That's
knows?
important to you.
That's important to me because who can better represent the community than the people that know there, that live there, that knows the story of the community, that knows the pain of the community, that knows the unfairness, the inequities of the community. Who else could come in and we're not a generic one-size-fits-all community. We have, like I said, we got special issues that need to be addressed just from a humane perspective. Yeah. We got people living out in the desert. We got, people living in, I appraise real estate. Every so often I open up a shed in the backyard and it's a one-bedroom, one-bath something that they've converted because the affordability of housing is off the chart. Right now in the Antelope Valley, I think.
What would you do about that? I mean, obviously.
What would I do about it?
Yeah.
And it's not a simple solution. So when you hear all these politicians running around, I'm going to cure homelessness. Bullshit.
Okay.
It's complicated because some people don't want to play Monopoly. I mean,
So what? I mean, can you give me some ideas about what you would do to help the
problem? What I would do first, let's find out who all these homeless people are.
Okay.
Let's find out if they want to play Monopoly or not. Let's find out their mental state of mind. We got a lot of mental illness in this state, and not enough service for them, and they're human beings too. But let's get to the root. Let's find out. I mean, I know that, for instance, disproportionately, of course, a lot of African Americans are homeless. Yeah. We make up approximately 30% of the nation's population, but we make up 40% of homeless people. So let's find out exactly why are you, I mean, that's the most human thing we can do is get on the ground and talk to these people. Why are you out here? And as it's for some, it's going to be just a string of bad decisions.
Yeah, or bad luck.
Or bad luck, because this is America.
Yeah.
And, but on the other hand, you create your own luck by living the right way and working hard. And let's, we could come up with, I say, like, let's take Walmart.
Yeah.
They take a lot of money out of the community.
Yeah.
Let's see their profit ratios. Let's see their give back to the community. Maybe they can chip in and get temporary homeless. I'm not talking about something that's going to be permanent.
Right.
Just some kind of transitional home to get you maybe an email address somewhere where if you want to find a job, they have a way of communicating.
Sure.
Just the basic things. I mean, it doesn't take a damn nuclear physicist to figure some of this stuff out.
I think, Scott Wilk, who you're running against as the Republican and the current incumbent, is, he's a bit of a challenge to beat, in a lot of ways. I think a lot of people look at electability. It takes money to win a race and things like that. I mean,
and that's a damn shame because that's one of the things I'm running on is getting money out of politics.
Yeah.
Both sides, Democrat and Republicans, always complain.
Well, but if you don't have the money to run,
and that's what and that's what people do.
Yeah.
And they say, well, as soon as I get in, I'm going to change this, and then they do this exact same thing, which is in the definition of insanity.
Right.
They do the same thing, gobble up all the money they can.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, do you think you have a good shot at it as far as winning, or what do you think your odds are? I mean,
I think I got as good a shot as any.
Yeah. Well, how?
If the media, say the talk of Santa Clarita, just if the media.
I'm not the media man. This is a dog and pony show.
I know. But I mean, okay, let's go with mainstream media. I know you're a little bit of a rebel. Let's go with the mainstream media.
Okay.
If they just did their job, part of their job inherent in being in the media is informing the electorate.
Yeah.
Who's running? Who wants to represent you?
Sure.
Who has your interest at heart? And not just, spewing out rhetoric for political expediency and, saying everything that the establishment tells you to say and doing, getting money from all of the usual suspects. These questionnaires, these groups that want to back you and endorse you, they send you a questionnaire that are really dehumanizing, basically saying, will you be my bitch?
Yeah.
And I'm not for that in any circumstance. I'm a union guy.
I think that's question 7, isn't it? Will you be my bitch? Yeah.
Yeah. That right after will you be my hoe?
Will you be my hoe? Okay. I didn't get that question.
It's that kind of stuff, that kind of influence where you just can't go to Sacramento as a human being fighting for your community, doing the right thing. You have to be beholden to all these people now who've given you money.
Right.
I go to Sacramento for the people.
Okay.
That's how the people retain the power of the office of even having an elected official.
I guess what I was going for is I remember a couple of weeks ago when we did the congressional debate, the unofficial one, as some people want to emphasize. I asked the candidates if they believed the Democratic Party was corrupt. And if I remember correctly, because you were sitting right next to me, and you're very vocal, I believe you chanted or agreed with the candidates as well. You believe the California Democratic Party is corrupt? Do you think so, or am I?
Yes, of course they are.
How so? How are they corrupt?
Because everything is an inside game. Now, do you want me to elaborate on that?
Oh, go for it, man. This is your time.
Okay, everything is an inside game.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. This thing with Katie Hill.
Well,
and
careful now. She's a friend.
Yeah, I know she's a friend, but you want the truth or you want to be bullshitted?
No, go ahead. Speak up.
Okay.
But be prepared. So
okay.
I'll defend her.
Okay. Well, okay. I'm gonna see if you can defend her after we talk. Now, Katie and I, we're not strangers. Katie know who I am. Yeah. I know who she is.
Yeah.
When the election cycle came up in 2016, Brian Cafario was running. He was the then carpetbagger. Right. Okay. I got to know him. He came to the community. He spoke a lot. I got to know about his ideology, what he thought, what his issues were, and how he could, solve some of these, bring some legislation, get some of our problems solved. Okay, so in 2018, I was like, okay, I know that I'm familiar with this guy.
Right.
I can support him, and I told him that. Oh, I'll support you. You run, you stay around and run again. Then you really can't be considered a carpetbagger. So that election cycle started. Katie was in the race. Jess Phoenix was in the race.
Yeah.
And
wow, I'm popular. Excuse me. That was weird.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah. Jess Phoenix, and I saw these what I thought were two brilliant, young ladies, and I was like, wow, hadn't really seen them in the Antelope Valley doing anything before, but it's okay. I understand. At least they were from the area. So
what happened?
So this is what happened. I was supporting Brian Cafario, and but I wish Katie the best. So then she won the primary, and like a good Democrat, you get behind, and I was supporting Katie, and and she won,
Right. Yeah.
right, and I would go to her office. I'm big in education. Education is my whole thing.
Right.
So I wanted Katie. My wife is a teacher.
Okay.
I also worked in the Lancaster School District for approximately 3 years after I left working at the prison.
You've had quite a life, by the way. You've done a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you have to live life to its fullest.
So what happened with Katie?
What happened was, I was trying to get Katie to come to my wife's school was transformed to a magnet school where they do computer coding.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, this is so great. These are the kind of events politicians should be at, acknowledging
Right.
on the merits of some of the good things in our community. It's on the east side of Lancaster, kind of a poverty-stricken area. And I tried to get Katie to come and couldn't figure out, like, why, Scott Wilk and Tom Lackey both had representatives there.
Yeah.
I got pictures of it. And I couldn't get her to, like, come on, this is, this is the stuff you should be doing. Let people know you are concerned, and she never show up. So then I saw her later at the delegate vote count. I think it was almost a year ago from yesterday, I think. And I talked to her, I saw her coming, and hey, Katie, how you doing? And like, what you up to? And I said, I'm running for that same Senate seat. And this is how I got the first inkling of something was wrong. She couldn't look at me in the eye. I was trying to talk to her. Oh yeah. How's Washington D.C. and she kept looking like away and around, like she couldn't look at me. And from my experience as a correctional officer, when an inmate can't, not comparing her to an inmate, but when someone can't look at you and talk to you face to face, and something is just abnormal, wrong with that.
Could be Asperger's.
Yeah, it could be Asperger's, but then it's just usually characteristics that are overly compensated with something else. Anyways, to stay on topic.
Stay on topic, yes.
And then I learned that all of a sudden this guy pops up, Kip Miller, and he's running, and I'm like, who is he? And we were all in Antelope Valley. Oh, well, he was a door knocker for Katie, but he wants to move here and run for state senate.
Wait a minute. So, yeah, I know Kip, but I mean, are you holding a grudge against Katie because she chose to support somebody else?
No.
Okay.
That's not the thing.
Okay. What's the thing?
The thing is, as Democrats, as respect for me as a human being, and being a big part of my community, and having the courage, time, and putting forth the effort to previously run. If I tell you I'm running again, don't disrespect me by, Republicans talk to each other. Be a human being. Come and talk to me and say, hey, well, Steve, this guy here knocked on doors for me, and he's really a great guy. He's not from here, but he's going to move into Santa Clarita. Now, do you ever wonder why nobody ever moves to the Antelope Valley? Any of the carpetbaggers never moved to the Antelope Valley, but that's another question for another day. But anyway. He said he's going to move in and we're going to support him. And all of a sudden, within like a couple of months, Kip Miller, who nobody really knows, I mean, we need to properly vet our candidates. Don't you agree?
Yeah. I think that the endorsement process should be fair.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should
know who we're sending. And I don't, listen. Let me get this clarified. I don't care about anybody's sex life.
Okay.
From an emotional perspective, I could not care less about what anyone else is doing in their sex life. But when we elect you and you go to Congress and you're having sex with a subordinate, there's a power dynamic there.
Sure.
That you can't have an existing relationship.
All right, let's be clear, though. She's denied that relationship, and there was the only accusations about that relationship came from an angry spouse.
Okay, but listen, she denied that. I heard an inside story. I'm not even going to repeat it here.
Let's not get into that.
But listen, when someone says, okay, we're going to open up an ethics committee, we're going to open up an investigation on you. and you go, okay, that's it. I'm done. I quit.
Well,
That's almost like pleading the fifth in reverse.
Possibly. I don't know. I mean,
when you quit, when you give up and you can't fight, the truth is the strongest thing a person can have. I have nothing but.
But I don't know what happened with Katie, and I honestly, but I will say this much: what she did as far as stepping down, it could be argued that the Republicans were going to use that point.
No. First, hell with the Republicans now.
No.
First, you fight for truth and justice. If you got truth and justice on your side, you stand up and you fight for yourself.
But at the same time, they're in the middle of trying to impeach the president. So
okay, but listen. This kind of sounds like you're deflecting. You keep going to that. Let's look at it realistically. Let's deal with the situation. Katie, why did you resign so expeditiously after they opened up an investigation? Mm-hmm. Was it because you're innocent and you did nothing? I mean, that all the legislation that was passed in 2015 with the hashtag #MeToo. Remember all of the interns that were coming out of the woodworks? Oh well, this congressman was screwing me.
We're getting off point on things. The thing about Katie,
I know cognitive dissonance is what you're experiencing right now.
No, it's not cognitive dissonance. I think that because it was beyond. There was more to it than just the alleged affair. There was also the situation with her other relationships, and of course her ex-husband, and the issue with the photos. There was a lot going on there that could have led to that resignation. I don't know what's going on in her head. I hope she comes on the show again soon so we can talk about it. But
the preponderance of the evidence, with everything you just mentioned,
yes,
all of that's going on there, the pictures, the I don't know, relationships, all of this and all of that. Do we want to send people who don't have that baggage? I mean, come on, I'm a Satanist, and I've been married for 20-some years.
Yeah.
I blow your brains out talking about swapping my wife with some. That to me, is. And I understand the whole polyamory thing. I'm familiar with that.
I don't want. You know what? Let's get back to you.
Okay, let's get back to me. But anyway, Katie was Katie was a coward and not willing to appear to have any respect for me. So it was totally disrespectful to me. Yeah. So, you know what?
I mean, that's why the Democratic Party is corrupt. Because Katie
listen. This gets to the whole picture.
Okay.
Katie resigned, and just magically, Christy Smith popped up on the scene, like she was handed, like she's now the new ordained. And then Kip is still there trying to fulfill the bad end of a quid pro quo with Katie because he knocked on doors in Antelope Valley for her. He lived downtown in L.A. in some really nice pool-topped apartment complex. I could show you the website for it.
You should at least give him credit for the commute.
Yeah, I know. But why? But if you wanted credit for the commute from the Antelope Valley, that's when I'll give you credit.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a gang. This is like a gang.
Steve,
everybody is coming from Santa Clarita. We got special sets of problems in the AV, but they feel like they are superior to us and they should select all of our candidates for us. Mm-hmm. Now, Cenk is a carpetbagger. Did you attend that rally down here they had about Cenk, the carpetbagger? I mean, it was a huge rally. It was like
I stay out of all that stuff.
It was like hundreds of people.
Yeah.
But now, Kip is a carpetbagger too, and I didn't see any rallies being held against him. I'm talking about an issue of fairness here and hypocrisy.
Well, but here's the thing. And now look, in the concept of democracy itself, I do believe in primaries. I do believe that everybody should give when it comes to endorsements, that all the candidates should be at least invited to speak in an endorsement and stuff like that. But there's a reason they call it a party, a Democratic Party or a Republican Party. Mm-hmm. I mean, in a certain sense, you literally have to kind of almost be invited into it. I mean, it's not like
but they want our votes whether you're invited into it or not, right? They solicited us for.
You don't have to vote Democratic. My point is that sadly, for just about everything in life, not just politics, but everything, it's like who you know and how long you work the system and everything else. I mean, that's just part of it, you know.
Okay, but why wouldn't the people who don't have it? Think about the people living out in the desert.
Yeah.
They have concerns. They have needs to meet. Now, is it fair that those people, they live that existence? They're not going to know anybody, you know, working at the homeless shelter, higher ups, who run the money, controlled all the resources. Just like African Americans, they think that we should, you know, all of a sudden be rich just because we're here in America. And just like you're saying, it's all about who you know. It's all about the connections you make. That's why so much business deals are done on the golf course.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to see a lot of black people on the golf course unless they're carrying bags for other people.
Yeah.
Trump makes a lot of his deals on the golf course. So I'm talking this insider stuff is what's killing us.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, how do you stop it? What are you going to do about it? You start letting other people in. Start hearing other voices. That's kind of why I'm running for office. So maybe the people in Santa Clarita can hear what's really going on in the Antelope Valley. Yeah.
And maybe they can address some of these issues.
Why are you a Democrat if you think the party is corrupt?
Okay, what's my choice? I could be an independent.
Yeah. Or decline state or something like that.
Or decline to state.
Yeah. Why not do that?
But just like religion, my parents were Democrats.
Okay.
Just like if you're a Christian, most likely you're going to grow up to be a Christian. And if you look at the alternatives, if you look at, you know, we have this, I call our parties bipolar. But we only have a two, actually with any power, because that's where all the money flows.
Right.
We have a two-party system.
Right.
That's why Bernie, who is an independent,
is running as a Democrat, though.
Is running as a Democrat because he knows that there's only two gangs in town. One's red and one is blue.
And why Trump ran as a Republican.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is all kind of commonsensical if you think about the math. That this is why people do that.
Okay.
I mean, if there was a party running called the Democratic Socialist Party, I will be in that bitch tomorrow.
Okay. Just the phrasing of that is funny. I would be in that bitch tomorrow.
I'd be up in there.
Why is it? Why
might
is
be
it
the president.
Why is it? By the way, when you say it, it sounds really cool. With me, I just sound very white.
You're the host. You have to have standards. I'm just a politician. I don't have any standards.
Is that what it is? Okay. So, I mean, have you had this problem with the clubs? Have you the Democratic clubs?
The Democratic clubs up there, we got issues because I don't join any of them because they won't unite.
But see, part of it being a party is being involved with these clubs. I mean,
yeah, but at some point you have to demonstrate unity. If not,
well,
you're setting a bad example for everybody.
How are you demonstrating unity by refusing to participate in the clubs, though?
No, I do participate. I just don't join them officially.
Okay.
But I'll go to meetings, you know, just to see what they're doing. I mean, I'm an atheist. Sometimes I go to church just to hear what the reverends are telling the people.
Okay. Well, it's just.
I know you think it's math.
My friend, you are actually more of an optimist than I am. I'm very cynical about the whole process.
Yeah, but you know what? I believe in people, man. I believe in power with people. People like ants. We can do some amazing stuff if we stick together with unity. We can move big items like the country in the right direction.
Well, I was thinking about the pyramids, but that involves
we
slavery.
won't leave them in place.
Yeah,
I like them in Egypt.
Okay, all right.
I don't think the pyramid would look too good sitting right next to the Gateway Arch in St. Louis.
Why are you running for state senate, though? I mean, as opposed to
why not do
something for the? Why not run for the school board?
Because let me tell you.
Yeah,
that's a good question.
Yeah,
I live in unincorporated Los Angeles County. Okay. I don't live within the line of Palmdale School District.
Okay.
Per se, even though my tax dollars go to Palmdale School District.
Well, you could move and be a carpetbagger.
I didn't want to do that. Okay. I don't want to be carpetbag. That's indecent.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But I mean, so just basically on your location.
Basically, it's because of my geographical location. I'm not within the city of, because I would have been the mayor of Palmdale a long time ago.
Yeah, okay.
And I want you to watch, while I'm thinking about this, I want you to watch to see what's getting ready to happen. Now, every other politician in this area runs on their experience and their prior, things they've done in life to make them great, to elevate them up to the stature of being a politician.
Right.
Hoffbauer, mayor of Palmdale,
Yeah.
firefighter. He puts it on his firefighter.
Yeah.
Steve Knight, veteran, law enforcement. It's on his posters right now.
Yeah.
Veteran law enforcement.
Yeah.
Tom Lackey, highway patrol. Some of his legislation is written kind of relative to highway patrol issues.
Okay.
Now, I'm a former United States Marine. I'm a retired peace officer. And I'm a small business owner. But somehow it doesn't seem to carry as much weight for some reason with me. And I would like to discuss that more, especially with the other candidates.
What do you mean exactly?
For some reason,
what do you
it doesn't resonate the same way with me. It's like I don't get people looking to vote for me or talking to me about, but everyone else uses it. But watch, it doesn't have the same ring, I think, when a black man does it.
So it's race. It's a race.
It could be. I'm not sure. I would like to talk about it, discuss it. But, I'd like to get to the bottom of that.
But let's. I think
people would be much more. Oh, he's a Satanist. He's a Satanist.
You do kind of give him that.
Okay, but why didn't nobody say, oh, he's a former U.S. Marine, or wow, he worked at two different maximum security.
Steve, that's not fair.
He worked at two different maximum security prisons, and
your Instagram and your Facebook is filled with stuff about Satanism, just as jokes. And it's done as humor, as satire. You don't see me. But why are people too intellectually lazy to look yes
and go? Because if they would read just a little deeper, they would see that I'm a big Bernie supporter.
Right.
I'm against over-incarceration.
But
I want Medicare for all.
You are under the impression, though, that people pay more than 5 minutes, put more than 5 minutes into their candidates. And they don't.
And there's the rub. There's the rub, and that's how I got 13% of the vote last time, because people would go to my website and go, oh, this guy ain't nothing but a Bernie supporter. Hey, some were happy.
Yeah.
Some were like, but at least they ascertained the information. So if I have to utilize my religion, which is a Satanist, to get people to have a conversation, to think, because I'm going to tell you, people are distracted. They don't have time for this game, these election cycles.
Well, I know.
I talk to so many people in the Antelope Valley, and I just ask them, because I'm out a lot. I talk to so many people, appraising homes. I'm running all around town all the time. And I stop. Waiters, check cash, banks. Who's your state senator right now? And
they don't
of course, the first thing they go is Katie Hill.
Yeah, I know.
And I go, no. Would you like to try again? I at that point, they usually break down and go, you know what? I ain't got time for that shit. And I tell them, hey, well, I'm running for office. My name is Steve Hill. You see me on the ballot. I'm for this or that, and I give them a little bit. But hey, get involved and find out who's going to represent you. Find out who has your interest at heart. Find out what the needs of the community. But people are distracted. So and a lot of voter apathy. This is America, so we're always distracted. Some people think Jay-Z and Beyonce is president.
I would vote for that, Bill. Beyonce
I
is.
bought a CD, but I don't know.
Only if Beyonce is president, Jay-Z is vice president.
Yes, we need a woman in there in the White House. What do you think about? Let me ask you a question. Let me turn the table for a minute.
Hey, dude, my show.
Listen, what do you think about a woman president?
I think it's a great idea. So,
let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of men screwing this country up. I think it's inherent in women to be more caring, more compassionate, more loving than men. Simple. Men want to conquer stuff and do this and do. and have war and you know, flex their balls and their arms and
there is a problem with the fact that you look at, like, particularly like with the Kavanaugh hearings and everything like that the Senate is filled with nothing but a bunch of old white guys, rich white old guys, you know.
Right.
You know, I am a little tired of.
And let me ask you, since you said that, another question. Why is it that white men are the only ones that you see gather in mobs and crowds and start yelling and screaming about the Second Amendment and their gun rights?
Well, I think
because they've screwed over everybody in this damn country, including white women.
Yeah.
White women, I refer that as more like a hostage situation.
Wow.
But you don't see black men yelling about, we need guns. You don't see Latinos, oh, we need our gun rights.
Well, you know.
Oh, we've got to protect ourselves from the government. Why? Why would you have to protect us?
That's a whole nother conversation. And I probably would agree with you probably 99% of it, you know, 99.9% of it. And as far as Latinos and blacks not requesting their guns, that's because if they have one, they're probably going to get shot. You know,
I can,
you know,
I can attest to that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, let's be real, you know.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. No.
You've got a gun.
You're laughing, but my nephew was murdered in St. Louis.
I'm sorry.
On the 27th. I'll remember it because it was the day before the end of Black History Month. I was wishing, okay, if you got to get murdered, could you not get murdered in Black History Month? He got murdered on the 27th of February.
Well, I don't mean to make light of tragedies like that at all.
I know. But I'm just saying, there's that's a whole another issue with this gun issue.
Yeah.
It's like African American, we don't have any gun manufacturing plants. So where are we getting our guns at to kill each other? Mm-hmm. Where are those guns coming from?
Right.
There's got to be a source. Are they all like old guns or new guns? Or how? It's because other people get rid of their guns at these gun shows and in states with very loose regulations, and they wind up on the black market in these cities where people can't legally buy guns. So you know, that's a whole nother the gun issue. I mean,
let's talk a little bit of just. I'm curious about. As a stand-up, how long have you been doing stand-up?
Man, I've been doing stand-up comedy for about 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah, Obama got me motivated. I'm like, damn, if a black man can be president, I can get on stage and tell a few jokes.
So Obama was your inspiration?
He was my inspiration because I always wanted to do political humor.
I see.
So I started telling Obama jokes.
Yeah. Like
right before around 2008 or so. And
my favorite joke about Obama, political joke about, and she was an African American, but I always loved this. She goes, people were saying I'm going to vote for Obama because he's black, and she says, well, that's not the case. I'm going to vote for him because I'm black. You know?
Right. So, and that's a joke, and you know, there's a lot of truth in jokes, and I'm getting ready to do a big show in the Antelope Valley. Yeah. I want to do one down here, but. Yeah. Anyways, there's a lot of truth in humor. There's a lot of pain in humor, and especially mine, because I got some Obama jokes that I couldn't even go.
See, I admire that about your comedy is the fact that it's political in nature, and I think that's really hard to do for a lot of reasons. You're testing the audience a little bit. You never know what kind of political affiliations are going to be out there in the audience, and then on top of it. Most people, myself included, having done a little stand-up, is you know, you get your material and you stick with it.
Yeah, it's yours.
But political humor has an expiration date to it.
Oh, kinda.
Yeah.
I write my material where it's kind of timeless.
I see.
You don't date it, or if you do, you can just change one phrase maybe on the end or the back where you'll make it contemporaneous. You'll make it like current day, and nobody will know the difference.
Now, do you feel that being a stand-up helps you or hurts you as a politician?
Hurts.
How so?
Because people think that it's a joke. That, you know.
Yeah.
When I ran in 2016 and I realized that I was up against the establishment, and Jonathan Irvin, I think he wound up spending like $2 million or getting $2 million. I mean, if I had that kind of money, I would not only be state senator, I'd probably be the president. But, you know, it's an interesting mix because, see, I'm getting ready to set out on an endeavor now where I'm going to do a series of comedy shows.
Yeah.
And these other candidates can't do that.
Yeah.
So I'm getting ready to do some comedy shows, but I'm going to mix them in as town hall meetings. I'm going to do a town hall meeting with Steve Hill.
Yeah.
After that, immediately following will be a free comedy show.
Nice.
Where I'll probably be the headliner.
Well, I would expect you to be at the point of
Yeah.
doing the town hall.
So it's a mixed bag. A lot of people think, he's just doing that because he's trying to get it. It's like,
why do it during the campaign? Why not set
I
that
do it
aside?
all the time.
Yeah, but
I mean,
why not set it aside while you're campaigning?
I've been doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been doing that. I haven't performed in probably 3 months. And that's a long time not to be on stage.
Sure. What's do you ever get nervous when you get up and perform, or when you speak as a candidate, or anything like that?
No.
No.
Nervous from what?
I don't know. I mean, some people are terrified of getting up and speak. I don't get nervous about speaking, but for some reason, my hands, if I stand, my hands shake whenever I'm holding a mic.
Yeah. See, that's adrenaline.
Yeah.
I experience that.
Yeah.
I experience that. Sometimes when I'm speaking, I am just so full of passion.
Yeah.
That it's like I can't scream. I can't scream because then nobody will listen. Mm-hmm. So now I have to have no choice but try to regulate what I want to say, so it can come out as a measure.
Well, that was kind of where I was going with this. Is almost in a certain sense that they one of the comedy things I was reading about, one of the comedy books I read about was what they call it, your inner critic. And you got to learn to throw that out the door when you get up and talk in front of people and tell jokes. Mm-hmm. As a comedian, somebody who does it on a regular basis, you've kind of learned to throw that critic away and not be shy about what you have to say.
Right.
But as a politician, in a certain sense, you have to have some kind of reservations about, or kind of be careful about what you say and where you say it, just because.
Yeah, but you also have to be true to yourself.
No, I understand that too. I'm just wondering if you found that to be the case sometimes, where you've said something and you're like, oh crap, that's because I'm the stand-up in me. You just couldn't resist throwing that out there.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of jokes that I have written right now that they could go either way. They're kind of risky.
Yeah.
So you do have to, be measured when you're speaking to certain groups. Like we just had a debate on Sunday.
Yeah, how'd that go?
And I went through without using the F word.
That's a challenge for you, isn't it?
That's it could be very challenging.
Yeah.
And I was much more, and everyone said, "Oh, that was better. That was good," because you have people pulling for you, and when they see you do better than you did when you were kind of angry, because sometimes I'm just the anger and the passion just builds up and you have to have a release. That's kind of why I started doing comedy, because seeing the mortgage meltdown happen, and the mortgage meltdown happened about the same time Barack was coming, so it was all kind of motivational. But seeing the mortgage meltdown happen, I saw literally thousands of people lose their homes in Antelope Valley, where we have 82% single family homes.
Jeez.
So that's going to be a lot of impact when a mortgage crisis happens. When you see that, and then you don't see anybody go to jail behind that, and then you know that the prisons are full of your people.
Yeah.
It's disheartening. It's like you talk about those two different justice systems.
Yeah.
To me, it was blatantly demonstrated. And
I got a couple of things we got to do before we wrap up here.
Okay.
The first is my question for my kid. This is the new thing. Question is from Ryan. His question was this, because I told him a little bit about you.
Okay.
And he always kind of comes up with the questions on his own. So,
is there really a devil, and what does he look like?
The question to that is, have you ever seen a devil? No.
Okay.
Have you ever seen God? No. Now, who do you believe? No one's coming back to explain anything to us. Mm-hmm. The devil has attributes. They have evil is associated with the devil.
Right.
But how do we know? Mm-hmm. Unless we talk to the devil, how do we know? Or do we really just believe something in this prehistoric, I call it, book that men wrote in the infancy of man's knowledge is when the Bible was written.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't even have cell phones. Think about how primitive they must have been.
I didn't have cable either.
Right, cable, nothing, electric, just recently discovered fire.
How did they even turn the TV on without a remote?
I don't know.
It's crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Howard Stern, nothing. They had nothing.
Yeah.
So how could they have ascertained all of this wisdom and knowledge to tell us how to live in 2020? So no, there is no devil. Okay. And until some entity or some great being comes and actually talks to us, why should we believe he exists either? When we look at the school shootings, Sandy Hook, Saugus, when we see people suffering, when we see people held in bondage, slavery, think about this.
Yeah.
African Americans worship the same God of the people who used to own them. Does that make sense to you?
I'm not going to get into religion.
Okay.
But I get,
okay,
listen
to
your
this.
point.
Here, let me see if you can answer this one. This is an easy one. Yes or no?
Okay.
Does it make any sense for African Americans to worship the same exact God of the Ku Klux Klan?
I'll go with what I have to say about most religions is it's not so much about the religion itself, it's the interpretation of it that creates the problem. And because, there are good Christians, there are bad Christians.
That's how Jim Jones got his start.
Yes, there are good Muslims, bad Muslims. There are good Jews, there are bad Jews.
And that's why we should just take people as they are. Yeah. We are sexual beings. Mm-hmm. That's why politicians are such horny creatures. They're just people. Come on, this goes back to the founding fathers. Thomas Jefferson was a slave owner. He had all kind of little half white and half black Obamas running around Monticello. I mean, Strom Thurmond was the biggest racist in Congress.
Yeah.
But he had a black daughter. Yeah. First round inductee into the All Racist Hall of Fame. He was like the racist person, but he had a black daughter. Mm-hmm. Bill Clinton in the Oval Office. Monica Lewinsky, horny. This is people. This is humans. This is who we are.
I think that was more Bill Clinton than it was just the fact that he's a politician.
But, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Look what Arnold did.
Yeah, well,
Arnold had a baby with the housekeeper.
Yeah.
Politician. Politicians are horny. I got a whole set of jokes I do on that, but I won't do them here.
Okay, so someone has to come see your show. Then.
You got to come to the show to see that one.
All right, you had promised or kind of warned me that some of the things we're going to talk about were going to shock me or make me uneasy. Is there anything that you want to just get off your chest as far as what's bugging you these days? I'll give you a full 90 seconds to.
What's really bugging me is the hypocrisy.
Okay, how so?
The hypocrisy. People are wavering from their core beliefs.
Yeah.
If Brian Cafario is a carpetbagger, then everyone that is doing the exact same thing that he did is also a carpetbagger. It doesn't matter if it's 2016, 2018, 2020, 1984.
Yeah.
A carpetbagger is a carpet. Be consistent with your beliefs. That's what gives you character.
Yeah, I get that.
And be strong. So don't waver. Look at the Republicans right now. Lindsey Graham's statements about the Bill Clinton impeachment. Mm-hmm. And now look at his statements about the Trump impeachment.
Oh, I know, that's amazing.
The core hypocrisy is what kills politics. Mm-hmm. Because you're not being that steadfast person who have these beliefs that you stick to.
Yeah.
You don't waver from shit you stick to, things you believe in.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe in this country. I mean,
I used to.
I believe we're destined to be great one day. But it's going to be people like me who are willing to sacrifice everything to tell the truth and be honest to do it. It's going to be people like Bernie that push the things that we need to do as human beings to be conducive to having life that's worth living on earth. We have to push these things forward. I'm an atheist, but one of the people that has a big influence in my life is Reverend Martin Luther King.
Sure.
Because he spoke out about the war. He spoke out about Vietnam. He spoke about the economic injustice, the education. He spoke out about all of these things. He even talked about real estate.
Okay.
He even talked about the redlining that was going on at that time.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Well,
and we still have these problems in 2020.
Yeah. Well, progress takes time, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, we have to push progress. We have to push progress along.
Okay. Well, let's. I'm going to give you 1 minute to tell us the elevator pitch as to why somebody should vote for you. Then we're going to have a little bit of fun. So we'll give you a 1 minute pitch on why should somebody vote for you.
People should vote for me so they can retain their power.
Okay.
And they have power. Every election cycle, the people have the power.
Right.
Why would you give it to someone who doesn't have your best interests at heart? Why would you give it to somebody who has received all of this money from all of these special interest groups? I'm not asking the people for nothing. I haven't asked people for money yet. And I really don't plan on it. I really want to just spend my own money and not ask people for money.
Yeah.
Even though I'm doing this for the people, so the people can maintain and have their own power to send somebody that only has one interest. There's no ulterior motives here. I'm pretty well off. I'm a retired peace officer and I have a small business.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but there's hardly any real estate appraisers left in California. There's half there used to be. So I'm pretty much, working as much as I want. So I'm not paid by anybody. I'm not beholden to anyone but the people when I get to Sacramento.
Right.
Do you know how pure and clean and honest and free that would make me?
Yeah.
Doing just what I believe that is best for the people.
Yeah.
And I haven't had one interview from the unions because they send you these dehumanizing, demoralizing questionnaires. So I don't do them, so I don't get to interview. They don't get to hear someone like me speak. But guess what? My union was the CCPOA, California Correctional Peace Officers Association.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am today because they fought for me when I needed representation.
So you'll fight for unions, is what you're saying.
So I'm saying I will fight for unions. Unions are the only thing that's saving the middle class. But guess what? Because I won't fill out their questionnaires, I didn't get to interview with any of the unions. So
some might say you have an attitude, Steve.
I have a little bit of an attitude. Yes, you can say that. I don't think you would be dragged off and thrown in jail for making a statement like that.
Who's your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero?
Yeah.
It's got to be Superman.
Superman, why is that?
Because he came from a place that nobody's really been.
He's a carpetbagger. You know that.
He's a carpetbagger. He's the ultimate carpetbagger. But he came to help.
Okay, he came to help.
Now, I like Superman. I like that concept of Superman.
There is something cool about Superman in the sense that he has all that power, but all he does is good things. You know what I mean?
You think he'd do something bad on accident, like maybe knock
that's
down a building on accident?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't.
But the idea of a superhero, of somebody that is that powerful, choosing to do nothing but good, is to me that's very appealing. Captain America is very similar in that same sense. But
Iron Man.
Yeah, Iron Man too. Yeah, so much.
Spider-Man.
With great power comes great responsibility. Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Wars, man.
Really,
Star Wars.
All right.
Star Wars. That was, I'm a kid of the 70s, man.
What's your first concert you went to?
My first concert I went to?
Yeah.
It was a reggae concert. No. It was a concert. I was in the United States Marine Corps, San Diego Stadium. There was R&B groups of the time, Lakeside, Roger Troutman and Zapp.
Zapp, oh yeah.
Yeah, that concert. Who else? You know, popular back in the early 80s. Those groups that were touring.
Houdini kind of thing.
And that was the first time, and this brings us back to the Lakers. I saw...
you are wearing your Kobe tribute.
I saw sitting next to me because he was in the NBA, Jelly Bean Bryant, Kobe Bryant's father.
Oh, wow.
Was sitting across the row from a couple of Marines. That was us. But, yeah, that was my first concert. Great experience as a young man.
I should say that we are recording this 2 days after Kobe's tragic death, and you are dressed in a Laker regalia for mourning.
That's the number 8 right there.
Yeah,
that's Kobe.
I think you stepped out of camera frame, but
okay, that's Kobe.
Yeah, how does that feel? I mean, losing somebody like that you were your hero.
It's traumatic because so many people admired him just because of his tenacity on the court and his will to win, his never say die, don't give up, keep fighting until the end. That's what Kobe, he exuded this confidence of we can do this, and my team is better than your team, and we will be successful. We will be victorious in the end. And I just like that tenacity. Now, there's going to be some things that comes up about Kobe. It already has about the rape allegations and the settlements and all of that. But see, that's one of the things about life. You pay for your mistakes, even in death. You pay for your mistakes. One way or the other, you pay for your mistakes.
I can't help but notice that you're African American.
Well, I was black when I came in here, but now I'm an African American. As long as I don't go down to Negro before we leave.
So I guess, can white men jump?
Sometimes it's really not necessary to jump. I'm a big Larry Bird fan too.
Okay, all right.
And I've seen him do some absolutely amazing things. Sometimes, just like when I was playing, sometimes it's better to have the ability to think instead of that power of jumping out of the gym. Yeah. Because if you can think to kind of interpret where your man is going to be on the court and you could throw him an easy pass where he's right under the basket and score, that could be better than, at the moment, jumping out of the gym and amazing the crowd with your athletic ability. I like the ability to be able to think.
What is the, here's a strange question for you. What is the whitest thing you ever heard a white guy say? Where you go, only a white guy would say that.
You know what, man? To be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I don't think this has nothing to do with race. But there's a guy running around down here somewhere. He's actually free. They got him on the loose. Yeah. Named Steve Palozzo or something like that.
I don't know, yeah.
Anyways, when I first ran for state senate, I came to a function down here that Cigar Dave had. Yeah. And the guy looked at me and he goes, "You don't look like an atheist." And I'm like, okay, well, at least he didn't disrespect my ethnicity. But now he's gone into religion. But he said I didn't look like, and I was on my best behavior, but
you don't look like an atheist,
The next question was like, could you describe this atheist thing for me? Could you describe what an atheist looks like? Yeah. But I didn't want to.
I actually thought that the whitest thing a white guy could say is, "What's the whitest thing a white guy says?" But that's just me. But
well, that could be put in the category of yeah.
All right, and then I just are you fan of? What is your favorite movie? Is actually what
my favorite movie?
Yeah.
And I just saw a clip of it. I have two. Yeah. Am I allowed to have two favorite movies?
You are allowed to have two.
Okay. One is Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing.
Great movie.
Should have won an Academy Award that year.
Absolutely.
But you know what won? Driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah, which says a lot, right?
Which says a lot. And there's another movie called A Soldier Story.
Yeah.
Has Denzel Washington in it.
Yeah.
That story there is, that movie is just absolutely, if you think about it in our history, absolutely amazing. And I think it's because my father's a World War II veteran.
Yeah.
He enlisted, he left for Germany from Camp Shelby in Mississippi, if you can imagine this.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And the setting, that whole movie, it just looks the way, and I kind of put him in the picture of, wow, my dad was at that time period doing the same thing they're doing in this movie, and the whole atmosphere, all the racial tension, all of the the Jim Crow in the South, everything that goes along with that was right there also in that movie.
Yeah.
And the movie has a amazing storyline too.
Yeah, it's a great film. I highly recommend it to anybody that hasn't seen it yet. It sounds great in it too.
Yeah, that movie is brilliant.
All right, well, Steve, I appreciate you coming on the show. I wish you much luck in the campaign. Let's hope people get a chance to watch the show or listen to the show and hear about what you have to say, and let's get the vote out for you if we can.
Well, let's just get the vote out. Let's get the vote out, because we have a 7-point advantage, Democrat over Republicans in the district. But the
Republicans vote. That's the thing.
I know. That's what I'm going to be saying. On our side, on our team, the voter apathy and the distraction of that which is life, trying to survive in this capitalistic society, keeps people from being fully engaged civically. And I think it's a duty, just like going to court and serve. I think it's a duty to be engaged and care and be concerned, because we have kids in these communities. We have schools. We have this, and kids are our future. It's like, how could you not be concerned about the future of us? Yeah. So, it's getting people out to vote. You know what? And if I have to do it as a Satanist, whatever.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
All right. Thanks a lot, Steve.
Hope
you guys enjoyed the talk.
You've been listening to The Talk of Santa Clarita. Listen to us on iTunes, SoundCloud.com, YouTube, and Stitcher. Barring a life event getting in the way, a new podcast is available every Tuesday. Questions, comments, and show ideas can be sent to thetalkofsantaclarita@gmail.com. You can also call or text us at 661-505-8672. That's 661-505-8672. Follow us on Twitter at The Talk of SC, or on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at The Talk of Santa Clarita. You can also visit our website by going to www.thetalkofsantaclarita.com. This has been a production of Radio Free Santa Clarita Incorporated, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. To donate, go to radiofreesantaclarita.org/donate. Radio Free Santa Clarita, on the net and on the air, and we're very much aware.
Any questions?